Hey guys, it's Jean here, and welcome to something that I wanted to do differently on my channel. As of recently, I've been watching a series called Abandoned from a channel called Bright Sun Films, and some of them were about Disney. So as you all know, Disney builds its theme park rides and shows to last. However, its parks and attractions are constantly evolving, and that means that inevitably in time, most rides and shows would either be updated with a new theme and technology, or removed altogether. Sometimes, though, if an attraction has no direct replacement, it is easier, and more importantly, cheaper, from guests' view. Scattered around Disney's various resorts are a surprisingly large number of such abandoned attractions. In some cases, the entire ride system remains in place, leaving fans with hope, however slim, that the attraction could return one day in some form or another. Let's take a look at 10 attractions that are currently standing but not operating. Number 10, Rocket Rods in Disneyland. In 1998, Disneyland's Tomorrowland underwent a major overhaul, re-emerging as New Tomorrowland. One of the casualties of the project was the former People Mover attraction, which had been installed to offer guests an overview of the area. Its moderating paced vehicles were replaced by the Rocket Rods, a high-speed thrill ride that operated on the same track. After boarding a 5-seat rocket ride, riders raced around the circuit at a much faster pace than the old People Mover vehicles. Unfortunately, the new attempt to bolt the new attraction into the existing People Mover infrastructure proved to be catastrophic. The unbanked turns weren't suited to high speeds, so the rocket rides had to slow down to a crawl on each bend. Tires wore out quickly, and the entire attraction was shut down in September 2000. The People Mover track remains in place, with many Disneyland fans demanding the ride's return. Rumors in 2013 pointed to a potential replacement by a Star Wars themed speeder bike attraction, but these should be taken with a pinch of salt. We'll have to wait and see what eventually becomes of this decades-old attraction. Number 9, Body Wars at Epcot. The original plan for Epcot included a pavilion dedicated to life and health, but a lack of sponsorship meant that the Wonders of Life Pavilion didn't make its debut until 1989. One of its headline attractions was Body Wars, a simulator ride through the human bloodstream. The attraction used similar technology to Disneyland's Star Tours, so similar in fact that sponsor MetLife demanded that the opening of Walt Disney World's clone of Star Tours at Disney MGM Studios to be held back until later in 1989, so as not to take attention away from Body Wars. The ride consisted of 4 simulators, each able to accommodate up to 40 passengers. The simulators played the role of Bravo 229 vehicle, which was shrunk down a weight of 26 tons to less than a drop of water. During their journey, guests passed through the heart, lungs, and various other parts of the body. In January 2007, the Wonders of Life Pavilion was closed for good. Without any explanation from Disney at the time, rumors suggested that Body Wars would be dismantled and sent to Hong Kong Disneyland. However, as Yesterland notes, there have been no credible reports of the simulators actually being removed. Instead, Body Wars simply boarded up and intensely out of reach for guests visiting the special events and private events that are held in the pavilion. Number 8, Cranium Command at Epcot. The Wonders of Life Pavilion's other major attraction was Cranium Command. This saw guests becoming cranium commandos and being sent on a mission into the human brain. It starred Buzzy, a tiny little soldier who had been tasked with keeping a 12-year-old boy out of trouble by entering his cranium. After a pre-show briefing, guests entered the theater, which was designed to represent the inside of a human head. The outside world was seen through a pair of screens designed to mimic the eyes. Buzzy himself led the mission in audio animatronic form. Like Body Wars, Cranium Command is believed to have been left largely intact following the pavilion's closure. Number 7. Making of Me at Epcot. Michael Short has made a habit of appearing in shows at Disney theme parks, starring in both O Canada in Epcot's Canada Pavilion, Corey, Body Fan 3000, and in the wonderful and often overlooked Scene Magnifique at Walt Disney Studios. Forgive me, I'm sometimes bad at French. Just look at my boyfriend David, he can speak French sometimes. Scene Magnifique. Okay, but prior to both of those, Short also starred in The Making of Me, a show that formed part of the Wonders of Life Pavilion's lineup. This was shown from 1989 until the pavilion closed, and focused on conception and birth, something of a departure for Disney. Although the film is no longer shown, the theater has been reused to show food-focused films during Epcot's annual International Food and Wine Festival, so the attraction is still essentially in place. Number 6. The Mark Twain Riverboat at Disneyland Paris. When you visit Disneyland Paris, you would be surprised to spot the Mark Twain Riverboat floating forlorning in Frontierland's rivers of the Far West. Even more surprising was the state of the boat, which looked virtually derelict. In places, parts of the boat's wooden structure appeared to have it detached altogether and fallen into the murky waters. All of this in full view of guests riding on the Disneyland Railroad. The boat is based on Disneyland's original Mark Twain steerwheeler. It is one of the 2 vessels alongside the Molly Brown that served the Thunder Mesa Riverboat's attraction, taking guests on a scenic journey around Frontierland. The Mark Twain hasn't operated since 2011 and has spent most of that time sitting in dry dock. However, it was moved out recently into the rivers of the Far West to enable the Molly Brown to undergo refurbishment. This has led to a serious deterioration in its condition. Number 5. River Country at Walt Disney World. Here's a rarity: an entire Disney abandoned water park. Back in the mid-1970s, Walt Disney World was not the sprawly multi-day resort destination that it is today. The only theme park on offer was the Magic Kingdom, and Epcot Center wouldn't open until the start of the next decade. To keep its hotel guests assumed and on site for longer, Disney decided to build its first ever water park, Disney's River Country. When Michael Eisner took over as Disney CEO in 1984, he took a more competitive approach than his predecessors. He decided to build a full water park, Typhoon Lagoon, to take on the nearby Wet n Wild. River Country's capacity was limited, and its days were numbered. It shut down on November 2nd, 2001, and it remains in place today. It was abandoned rather than demolished. In this picture, you can see what River Country looks like to this day. Number 4. Discovery Riverboats at Disney's Animal Kingdom. When Disney's Animal Kingdom opened in 1998, it featured only a handful of attractional rides. One of these was the Discovery Riverboats, which were intended to provide transportation from the Safari Village to Asia, offering guests to look at scenery including animatronic dragons and other props from the mystical Beastly Kingdom. Unfortunately, Beastly Kingdom was never actually built, leaving guests to look at bland riverbanks. Those expecting an experience similar to the Magic Kingdom's Jungle Cruise were very disappointed. After 6 months, the riverboats were renamed as the Discovery River Taxis, emphasizing that they were intended to provide transportation and nothing else. By 1999, the attraction was once again renamed, this time as the Radio Disney River Cruises. With the boats being repainted in bright colors and Radio Disney music piped in, it proved to be just as unpopular, and the ride was closed for good. However, the 2 landing docks for the boats remained in place, with both being used for character meet and greet spots. The boats have been previously been used part of the park's opening ceremonies and are still used as resort transportations on Bay Lake during busy periods. Number 3, Food Rocks at Epcot. Kitchen Cabaret has been one of the most unusual Disney attractions of all time. It was essentially a vaudeville-style show featuring singing food items and was designed to teach kids about the 4 food groups. It operated in the Land Pavilion at Epcot for 12 years before being replaced by the similar Food Rocks, which itself closed for good in 2004. Eventually, Soaring occupied some of the space that was used for Food Rocks. However, according to Modern Mouse Radio, the actual stage was left in place and hidden by walls. Even the animatronic figures are said to be resting just beyond your reach, as you hear for the Flight Simulator ride. Whether that will remain the case if Disney goes ahead with rumored plans to add more capacity to Soaring by installing an additional simulator remains to be seen. Rumors also said that the Food Rock stage and animatronics were sadly no more. Number 2, Disney's Discovery Island at Walt Disney World. Located in Walt Disney World's Bay Lake, Discovery Island first opened to the public in April of 1974 as Treasure Island and operated as a wildlife observation attraction until 1999. At that point, many of its captive animals were moved to the newly opened Disney's Animal Kingdom. While several alternative uses of the island have been since put forward, including turning it into an attraction based on Lost, it remains off limits to guests. Urban explorer Shane Perez reached the island in 2010, claiming to have discovered abandoned buildings, cages, preserved snakes in jars, even old employee photos. Well, that is the case. And also, I should also let you know, the guy that I've been watching, Best Sun Films, he also did an abandoned episode of this. And there was a recent update on this. There is actually a gate now in front of the entryway, and it was placed there in about 2013. 2016. And also the other case is he had talked to some of the cast members and the manager of the Fort Wilderness campsite. Unfortunately, the bad news about it is there is no future plans for anything to go on in Discovery Island anymore. And also, if any of the employees were caught going to the island, they would have been fired on site. And that's basically pretty much it. And now we're to the final abandoned attraction, which is number 1, Imageworks at Epcot. The original Journey to Imagination attraction at Epcot was very popular. After disembarking, guests were sent through the post-show Imageworks area. This hosted a variety of games and hands-on exhibits, such as Magic Paletti, digital drawing station, Light Rider, using lasers to write and draw, and Bubble Magic, a projection that moved in time with sounds. The most famous of these was the Rainbow Corridor, which which assigns a color to each guest and followed them throughout. When the ride underwent a major refurbishment in 1999, a move that was incredibly unpopular among fans of the original, Imageworks was closed and it was left largely intact, being used for storage and special events. Also, a little update to this. In 2016, Disney added the Disney Vacation Club Members Lounge. And unfortunately, on the other side of a wall in that area is where all the Imageworks attractions and stuff were left intact. So there's no way to go in there and explore. Thank you for watching this video. I just wanted to talk about all the abandoned and still standing attractions at Disney. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Also stay tuned for more reviews of my mini projects such as Diddy's Birthday and the crossover that I'm doing with Larkin called Sonic and Friends / Gene and Diddy, The Return of King Rool. And I also have another community project coming out in the fall. I won't reveal too much of it because you have to watch Diddy's Birthday to find out all the details about it. And let's not forget and Gene's Origins coming out in May, and also stay tuned for the shenanigan videos. The shenanigan videos are coming back. They will be back in May when I go see David, aka Macaroni 76. Also stay tuned for part 2 of Sonic and Sonic Scourge of Darkness coming next month to Macaroni 76's channel, and part 2 of Sonic and Sonar Bond of Hope coming soon to Sonic Laurel 23's channel. Also stay tuned for Davy Jean's Valentine's Day Duetathon 2.0 coming next month on both Macaroni 76's and my channel. See you guys next time. Bye!